Saturday. Neil, Mark Yates said on Saturday that he'd give the kids a chance possibly this weekend. Has that sort of had any effect in training on, I suppose, players looking to keep their places and those looking to come in?
I don't necessarily think so. I mean, when you've got a talented bunch of kids like we've had, they've been dipping in and out of the squad all season, and they train with us quite regularly. So I think from a sort of established player's point of view, you always know that there's people chomping at your heels to either take your place, and and you've got good young ones coming through. There's always a chance that they might get chucked in. So. But yeah, it's good having the option to be able to chuck a couple of young ones in if we need, because they sometimes come with no fear and no baggage, and just come in with a clear head and just enjoy the football, perhaps more than when you get a little bit older and you start analysing stuff too much.
And how difficult is it to work out which ones to play, because there's 3 or 4 who are probably capable of it rather than just 1 or 2?
Yeah, I think you do have to be careful with them, because you don't just want to, like you say, chuck 3 or 4 in all at the same time, and perhaps the team doesn't do itself justice and individuals don't as well. I think we've had three second-year scholars, including Zach at the age he's still a second-year scholar age, playing the first team this year, which is a good record, and if we can use them again between now and the end of the season to have a good look at them and see if they can help us pick up the 3 points, that'd be good.
And can the presence of younger players in the team help some of the older players actually step up into more of a leadership role? Because that's one of the things that's been, if you like, missing at times this season, at crucial times. Yeah,
I think we are quite young. Even if we bring some youth in, like you say, the older lads have to step up and be leaders and stand up and be counted. But it is good to see the young lads with us. And like I say, they just come and play football. They enjoy it. They do the wrong thing a lot of the times, but they also do things that you can't coach and teach. And that's been one of the highs of this season, seeing some of the second years come through, joining in training with the lads, and and seeing the quality that some of them have.
And what's the instruction that you give these kids? Is it keep it simple, do the basics right, or is it actually, if it's on, try it?
Yeah, you do. You've got to sort of give them some parameters within the need to work to just play off the cuff like they do all week, all season. They have been doing. People like Harry Williams scoring goals. You can't, if you sort of try getting in his head and tell him to go and stand somewhere, and while he's doing it now naturally, you just got to let him get on and do it.
And going back to that leaders issue, I mean, it's a baffling one, especially because sort of it wasn't a problem that you and Mark Yates actually encountered. You were sort of the direct opposite of it. I mean, is it a generational thing, do you think, or can you put your finger on what's changed in football, that there seem to be fewer leaders in the game?
If you speak to other managers and coaches after games, and throughout the week when you bump into people, the one thing that they always say that they're after is that sort of leader in the middle of the park, or at the back, or up front. It's I don't know, perhaps we're getting older and you look back and think everything was it was a sunny day like this every day, and we had leaders in the team and skillful players and you never lost. Obviously it wasn't like that, but we had a good bunch of players. Steve Cottrell signed a lot of, we were quite old when we were winning promotions back in the playing days, and we did have a lot of older, more experienced lads, and I think with the age, obviously, you do become more confident in being able to issue instructions on the pitch yourself, so we did have a good group of leaders, and there's leaders in the team. There's it's a little bit easy sometimes just to say that's missing, but I certainly think we'd be stronger as a group if we could have just had a couple more talkers and organisers on the pitch, especially when in big moments of the match when you need them.
County Cup game at Forest Green tonight. Will the side for that have sort of any bearing in terms of places competing for Saturday?
We knew this game was obviously coming up last week, and we'd all sort of pencil in a team regardless of last Saturday's results or this Saturday's team. You know, we're going to go with a team on Saturday, and if we're going to make changes from last week, people who will either, you know, be playing tonight because they need a game, or they might be not playing, so they're still fresh for Saturday. You know, it's we've had one of those seasons where I think pretty much everybody's played enough games. You know, they're all sort of in the 20s really, but bar young Zach and I think Ashley. You know, we've been making a few changes this season, and like I say, everyone's had a good substantial number of games, and we're at the stage of the season now where they're not going to get any fitter. They just need to be, you know, a little bit match sharper. So there's a chance a couple may be playing tonight to be involved Saturday, but there's also a fine balance between playing them on a Wednesday and keeping them fresh enough for Saturday.
And looking at Saturday and Exeter, the position they're in, they're obviously fighting for their lives just above the drop zone. How difficult is it going to be to go there and match, I suppose, the intensity that they're going to bring?
Yeah, we played them late on in the season last year when I think if they'd won, they would have still had a real good chance of getting in the playoffs. And we knew we had to go down there and win to sort of cement our place in the playoffs, and we managed to get the win, and it was a tough game. And it's going to be equally as tough this season. You know, they're not as high in the league as they were last year, like ourselves, and as high as they'd want to be. And they've not got the best home record this season, but they've certainly got a lot of young talented players, and you know, Paul Tisdale's highly regarded in the football world. You know, he gets his team playing the right way, and yeah, it'll certainly be difficult on Saturday.
Is it easy though in some ways to come up against a manager who has been there for a while, and you kind of know the way that he's going to set his team up, or at least the way he's going to try and want to play?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you wouldn't like him just to change the manager this week, and there's a little bit of an unknown. So you do know what Paul's about, and you do know how his team's set up and how they'll play. But it's one thing knowing that, and another team sort of countering that, and you know, imposing our game onto theirs.
Injuries? How's Nobby?
Nobby, he was sore on Saturday. You know, it's a shame he had to come off on Saturday. He was sore. He's had a couple of days with Wes. Whether, I mean, you know what he's like. He's one of those older heads who's like one of the young boys. All he wants to do is play football all the time. And when he's injured and got a couple of little niggles, he's grumpy and not nice to be around. And he just wants to be fit and playing. Hopefully, he might have a chance. We did pick up a couple of little niggles in training yesterday. Ashley, Vincent, Terry Gornell, who would have been playing tonight against Forest Green. They've both just got a couple of little knocks that we'll have to assess them before Saturday.
And Steve Elliott, how's he?
Steve again, he just got a nasty one last week against Scunthorpe, and we thought he was going to be fit for Hartlepool. It was sorer than we thought. We had to go without him. And he wasn't ready for the Southend game. He's been well pleased with the way it's been after having treatment this week, and hopefully, you know, going back to the leaders and the experienced players we're talking about, if he can come through a training session and be available, that would probably suit us.
Thank you, good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Neil, every season you played for Cheltenham, it was you're either going for promotion or, you know, battling to stay up. And bar a miracle, you know, this season it looks like you're not going up or down. So, what's it like? It's quite an unusual feeling, isn't it? And also since you've been management, you've been in with the shout the last 2 years, obviously right up to the end of the season. Is it quite an unusual feeling now to be seeing it out?
It's
like mid-table.
I mean, it is in a way. I mean, you look at. I look at other divisions, and you do look at certain teams, and you think, well, they're not going up, or they're going down. But when you're in the situation at that club, you don't feel like that. You do feel like there's still a heck of a lot to play for. I mean, these are professionals. They get paid to come and play football. And if we see any signs of people thinking that the season's over, it don't quite matter. You know, it's wrong. People pay good money to support the club. People they've travelled all over the country this year watching us, and the very least they expect. We can't guarantee performances. We can't guarantee wins, but all the fans can expect is the players to prepare as well as they would do for any other game. If it was, you know, needing to win to get into the playoffs or promotion, they've got to do everything proper, and for me, on the whole, they do.
Yeah, the manager's hinted that there's obviously going to be some changes in the summer, a lot out of contracts, but it was quite a strange situation you found yourself in, because you had to play at Notts County on the last day of the season to stay up, knowing that you were leaving, didn't you? I mean, what was that like? Because you already knew you were off. Was that quite difficult to stay as professional as you might have been if you thought you had a new contract in the bag?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, John. I understand what you're getting at, but no, I went seeing Bobby Gould a couple of months before the end of the season, and I remember saying, "What do you think for next year?" And he was like, "No, I don't think. I don't really see you being here," kind of thing. And it's something that as a professional you get used to. It's, as I said, there's the minute you start not fancying it or turning your nose up at things, it's you're not doing your job. It's not the way I was brought up. It's not the way the majority of players I've ever met have never been like that. It was interesting with the Notts County one. From probably when Bobby told me I probably wasn't on his plans for the following season. I played the last few games, and it's I don't know, sometimes you might just be a bit more relaxed. You're almost playing for a contract somewhere else, So there was no issue with me then that time.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting you to tell us who's going where or who's being offered stuff, but do you think you know where you're going at the moment, or is it still things that can be decided over the next 5 games on people's futures? Because there are a lot out of contract, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, player recruitment's massive at our level, and there's no secret. The better players you can get in there, the better you do, and that's an ongoing thing throughout. Every season in, season out, and close season. It's something that we're always doing. We're always looking to get better players in, and we've had a good bunch this year. We've got a good bunch this year. It's just a shame they've perhaps not been as good as we wanted. Following the last couple of seasons. There will be changes, but not just. We want to make the team stronger, the squad stronger, and the club stronger, and that's and a byproduct of that is moving players on at times. Yeah,
I mean, the last 2 years you probably felt you just needed to tweak it, but do you feel this year it almost needs a bit of an overhaul? Almost, start again, not start again, but a bit more of an overhaul.
That might be a little bit of a strong word. I mean, last Scunthorpe haven't lost for 20 odd games, and I thought for 45 minutes we were the better team and we missed a penalty, but that's what happens when you're playing good teams full of confidence. And we've thrown too many points away from leading situations, and if we could have gone on to win, I don't know, 2/3 of those games, we'd be right up in the pack, and that's only, I think, fine adjustments rather than wholesale changes.
Yeah. Cheers, Neil.
Cheers, Neil.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Neil.